People who bought a house, what is the weirdest thing you have found left by the previous owner? That they wired a room by connecting the outlet with an extension cord inside the wall. We had our air ducts cleaned before we moved in. They also inspected them with a camera. Someone wrote "fuck you" deep inside one of the ducts. We thought it was hilarious. $1,200 in cash above the door on the inside the closet. I found it while painting. A diary of an American soldier in WWE, South Pacific Theater. Found it above a door when remodeling 20 years ago. My wife and I tried everything we could think of to find a descendant, but to no avail. The passage my wife and I moved to 3 years ago had a bucket full of wrapped dinosaur bones. Took them to our local museum, where they confirmed they are roughly 68 million years old. Hadrosaur, pretty cool. Not weird, but behind the hot water tank was a handwritten "I love you" from the husband to wife. Tucked away in a crawl space under the kitchen, the previous owner placed a dummy with a horrifying Halloween mask on it. Went in to replace a pipe and had to replace my undies. Not me. My friend was cleaning out his garage and found a stack of vintage porn mags high up on a shelf. Like 70s style, raunchy stuff. He brought them to a party and just tossed them casually on the table. A 90s AM/FM radio with a Backstreet Boys cassette tape in it. I felt like I found an ancient relic when I came across that thing. I still have it. Old cigarette packs hidden all over the basement behind where paneling ended randomly. And hundreds of spent cigarette butts in a crawl space clearly. Someone was sneaking their smokes. The painter found a letter from owner's ex-wife to him. She wrote about how he was the best thing ever and she regretted a lot of things she did to him, and then proceeded to blame him for everything wrong with her life. It was very odd. For screws and nails used to secure everything. It's as though they bought a bucket of them and just had to use them everywhere. Big or small projects. Everything was screwed or nailed together with the screws and nails. An entire tribe of raccoons living in the attic. Some 1937 children's gas masks in boxes, including one with my name written on it. There was a big leather trunk in the attic. It was empty, seriously. WTF. We threw a bunch of random crap in there, some of our stuff. Some we got cheap from thrift stores, just for the interest of the next person. A cannonball in the garden. It is quite rusted now. I use it to hold the back gate open. The former owner put googly eyes on all the doorknobs. Very strange. Lol. I didn't find it. I left one, at some point. Is going to pull down the drywall in the garage attached to the house we sold last year and find a very large reference to the Doctor Who 2007 episode Blink. Beta video cassette of previous owner's sex tape. The couple was very old. It still makes me shiver 20 years later. Not a direct answer, but the house I grew up in had an unfinished basement. When my dad and I framed a closet, I stuck a can of Man-Witch on the crossbeam and drywalled it particular reason. 16-year-old me just thought it was funny. Fully decorated for Feetsmas tree in the attic. A gun, revolver and a box of bullets behind a false wall in the coat closet. My friend got left 5 to 1,000 barrels of moonshine by previous owners. I found the first Superman comic book. It's from 1938. Bullet casings, a chicken wing and a notepad with which boxes from the gym owe money for rent, all behind the trim casing of a basement window. A 40-year-old love letter from the previous owner to his wife written on the back of a built-in wall clock that he made for her birthday. A sweet plywood sign that's spray painted to say Spring Break 89. Must have been a wild time. Dozens of empty Oxy prescription bottles behind the fridge. That's where he was tossing them. We tracked the dates across for years. I'm just now realizing that may be why we got such a good deal on this place. Wardrobe used to be a trapdoor and was growing the devil's lettuce, also remnants up in the roof. I found 2 separate porn stashes. One with Polaroids of the wife naked inside the 90 for Drew Barrymore Playboy. The other was up in the basement drop ceiling about 40 DVDs in a burner cell phone box, and had a sunglasses case filled with Viagra. 20-year-old bottle of holy water hidden in a dark corner of a cabinet. There's a one little piece of wallpaper on the inside of the closet in my girl's room. It's a weird little doll. I'm afraid to remove it so that I don't disturb its soul. About 50 used razor blades behind the bathroom medicine cabinet, which had a slot to dispose them into no container. Apparently it was designed to be emptied whenever the bathroom was refurbed. My house was empty when I moved in except for one of those old 1920s 30s I'm guessing wind up record players with the big horn on it up in the attic. A 100-million-year-old fossil, very cool. Basement of my parents' house. One finished far corner of the basement with a medicine cabinet on the outside, a pass-through slot in the wall and a hook lock on the outside of the door. A wardrobe. It was empty, but still in good shape. Two loaded guns in the attic. I bought the house from a little old lady. Edit. Here's a picture. My home inspection report included the following factual findings. Hot tub service compartment has an unopened can of Coca-Cola, one roll of toilet paper and a seemingly clean pair of recommendation. I'm stumped. Haven't found it because haven't looked yet, but there is a safe behind the wine cooler in our house. One day I will do some moving of stuff and haul it out and post if there is anything in it. Old creepy painting of a little girl in the attic with her eyes scratched out. I have a wooden plank, is an ecstasy tablet between one of those gaps. I tried to, but cannot reach it. It lies there for over 15 years. A hidden cabinet filled with bottles of whiskey. There were two grave markers under a tree that the seller picked up and took with her. So, I'm assuming it will be some kind of carillon. Stay away from the light situation any moment. A ceramic piggy bank shaped like a naked woman who was all fours with her ass in the air. Her butt crack was the coin slot. I got a house a year ago and there was about 1 gram of shrooms that were left above the fridge. I took them and they worked. Wasn't the house we bought, but this old PPL was still a mobile home. And there was a lower torso sex doll on the closet as in my FB pictures. Somewhere I was that amused. Fish tank with goldfish. The fish tank was built into the wall that separated the garage and living room. Gave me a direct line of sight to my vehicles. A die home repair book from the 70s, which they used badly and extensively. I set it on fire. Not me, but my best friend's family. Opened a wall in a 200-ish-year-old and found a flintlock rifle sealed in the wall. Rusty and unshootable, but still kind of cool. Handcuffs attached to a water pipe in the basement. Cum stains on the wall where their desk used to. I had to wash them off. The pee stain where they died. Found a box of old war stuff with some boots and Nazi paraphernalia. Had a few notes with accounts of the previous owner died, including an account of him killing a German in melee combat. Got rid of the Nazi stuff quick law. The old owner of our house left a 6-foot wide elk head above the front door. Then asked us to ship it to him. We also found his wallet, social security card, and multiple safes. A single wedding band on top of the cabinets. Found it when we painted the walls and I had to lean over the cabinets to get the top of the wall. Left that shit there. A shit ton of huge abalone shells in the dirt in the backyard. My best friend is Native American, so I gave her a grocery bag full to make jewelry with. In the basement closet is another closet that locks from the outside. The door has a window, has eye bolts that hang from the ceiling, and has drains. I have either a murder room or a sex dungeon. Cartoon dicks drawn on every wall and sheeting behind the insulation, all of them. Also, I built the house. The previous owners of my house did some really handy additions. Lots of under-the-counter lighting and built-in cabinetry. Raised shelving in the basement with extra flooring, etc. You can just tell that they really loved it and took care of it. My dad had some remodeling done on his home in NY. When they opened a wall panel, there was hidden whiskey from the time of Prohibition. Yes, we did, and it was smooth. An old tiny bag with a big swastika and the German eagle on it. A very old Tupperware labeled bullets. Inside was about 30-40 individually wrapped bullets of various caliber, very old, very corroded. Saw a weed sprout in the front yard as we moved in, shoulder let it grow. I recently sold my late father's house. I hid a huge bag of his old porno mags in the roof space. A grave marker in the basement cellar, unfinished cinder block. It was in the dirt leading up to the wall. It was for Bob. Never found out who Bob was. A cookbook from the 70s written entirely by doctors' wives. It literally says that on the cover, but each recipe is attributed to like Mrs. Bert Doctorman. Not a single one of their actual names is in there. Adventures in Microwave Cooking book. So much sketchy electrical work. Former owner was an electrician. 18 sets of keys buried in glass jars around the perimeter of the house. Ukrainian government's gas contracts with Russia, original documents, a few boxes. They weren't interested in collecting them, so in the trash they went, the papers. Not the former owners. My friend bought a house. They left behind a pet raccoon. We bought the house from a long-time divorcee. I found a journal detailing how much she disliked her daughter. Vibrator in the attic of all places. I just built a house. I made a point to put a plastic Halloween skeleton in the dirt before they poured the basement slab. So when someone removes that slab in 100, 200, 300 years, they're going to get a nice joke surprise from me. Saw a bunch of red stains on the bathroom floor. No idea why they ate their fries in the bathroom, but they got really messy with that ketchup. Found porn nags hidden in drop ceiling while redoing it. A pair of empty whiskey barrels in the bootlegger's basement under the living room. Previous owner, I'm guessing, beat the fuck out of their old BBQ with a sledgehammer, placed it under the deck area and built over top of it. It's not too weird, but I lived in an apartment that seemed newly carpeted, so it seemed new. Maybe a bath fit a bathroom too. Anyway, I got a tier to clean the kitchen once, and pulled out the fridge, and just so many letter magnets. Knew a fella that found an entire automobile buried in his backyard. A rotisserie chicken in a bag hanging by the back door. A watch sitting on top of a business card inside the freezer. I wish I was kidding. 13 empty vodka bottles hidden above the drop ceiling in the basement. Someone was hiding a drinking problem. A big turd in the toilet and a bowl of mussels and smoked fish in a very dirty American style. Fridge freezer which we'd negotiated as part of the sale as it was kind of integral in the kitchen. We weren't impressed. Not necessarily weird, but salt pepper shakers, full clean. And to margarine containers in the freezer with the best soup I've ever had. The house was haunted. And we moved for months later. This was in Seattle. The electric meter was covered by drywall and a closet was then built around it. Took us a year to find where it was. Dildos. Just so many dildos. A small accordion. I taught myself to play a little. A fucking folding bedside toilet in the attic. Well, guess what? It's staying up there for the next owners too.